both in the same class together and going to college. And the first thing that I was attracted to was her looks. She was a nice looking young lady, and she was organized and she was a good student.
He would sit behind me and just say stuff about like how I was organizing my notes and stuff like that. Plus he came to school every day with his work uniform on. So it's like he has a job. He's a working guy. And he's cute too.
I tried to talk to her and she kind of blew me off and had me kind of stuck into a friend zone.
He had like a class project, and of course he called me to interview me for that project. He was looking to like buy a house. I was in real estate, so he would call and we would talk about that. And then during one of the emails or conversations, he mentioned he was leaving to go away to school. And I was like, oh, well, we should get together before you go. So he likes to say that I asked him out on the first date. From that first date, I found some stuff that I liked.
Our relationship just progressed. We were just inseparable.
So we married October 2010. Beautiful ceremony. I was so happy. Immediately we moved into our house, and we had started having like little small disagreements, pretty big by Christmas, over small things, but in my mind it was big.
We were clashing about where we would go for Christmas, how much time we would spend at this family, putting two lives together, you know what I mean?
I think for me, I had felt I had given up so much of like myself. And then it just trickled into, well, we're always doing things this way or that way. For example, I remember we had a disagreement about cooking chicken. And I floured my chicken one way that I was used to doing, and he floured his another way. And he's like, why are you doing it like that? And I'm like, what difference does it make? I'm cooking. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's going to be a double cleanup. And I'm like, but this is the way I've been doing it forever. It was chicken.
For me, it's just like, hey, we had a slight disagreement yesterday. It's over. For her, those things are adding up.
By our 1-year anniversary, I was already beginning to get thoughts of, what did I do? I don't know that I want to be in this marriage anymore. And by January of the following year, I actually moved out of our home.
It was a shock to me to think that she would want to leave or want to break up. You know what I mean? I was totally blindsided by it. We went to different counseling to try to work things out. We both, or maybe, felt like, hey, it's no more options. We tried everything we could do.
So less than 3 years, we were married and divorced. After the divorce, a part of me, I remember being very bitter at some point. I remember feeling like I did everything that I was supposed to do. In my head, I was the ideal wife. I was perfect, and everything was Tayon's fault.
I had a idea in my mind that I would absolutely never consider getting back with Melissa.
As I began to pray and I asked God, I asked him to show me me. I was not forgiving. I was not patient. A marriage requires two people. And I spent so much time blaming the other person that I wasn't allowing myself to look at me. And I prayed that if I was blessed enough to ever be married again, that I would humble myself in a sense. I felt that I had dropped a ball on a very great marriage. And so I was greatly convicted, and I felt really sad for a very, very, very long time.
I remember a friend of mine, we were at a Christian camp over a summer, and he was kind of challenging me to forgive my wife and look at the situation and say, what could I have done wrong? How can I go about not just blaming her? At the time, I think I blew it off and said, you just don't know, But eventually, you know, I end up praying, asking God to soften my heart, and that happened. We both had some issues with forgiveness in that sense where I'm not going to forgive her. Look what she's put me through, you know, and I not to speak for her, but I'm sure she had some things where I'm not going to forgive him. Look what he put me through.
Where's my sin, God, that has brought me to this point where I am? Can you please reveal that to me? And he did. We had to get honest with ourselves and really think of the scope of not just our marriage, but who we were.
I asked her about counseling and kind of made some steps towards us getting back together.
We were in the midst of being angry with each other and not taking the time to stand back and look at the situation. God really dealt with us separately and allowed us to become honest with ourselves, to learn patience, to definitely, as Tayon said, learn how to forgive and how to be humble. I remember the day we got married for the second time. It was May 10th, 2014. Beautiful day. A lot less pressure than the first wedding.
Lot cheaper. God showed that his healing and restoration power with our relationship, and through it all, we got 2 beautiful kids out of it.
And it's only by the grace of God that we were able to get back together. I felt really hopeful about where we had came from and where we were going and where our future would be. And it was a great opportunity to show God's grace in our lives. Our timeline has been every year. It's been something going on, but the good thing is that we remarried May 10th, 2014. We had our son June 13th, 2015. We had our daughter in 2016, and here we are in 2017. And
we're gonna have our third kid.
No. Growing and learning and really trying to stand on those building blocks for ourselves and for our children.